There we go. Yeah, I got it. Yeah, there we go. Well, good evening. Welcome to Sunday Funday with Dad.
I'm dead.
And I'm Rod Baker, in case there's a question. We'd like to have you participate with us this evening, and participate as in tune in to our weekly conversation. And this week we're going to do a conversation on, I guess the best way to say is I wanted to say good discipline for some reason, and it's not that. What's another word for it?
Humility.
You know, we spend a lot of time together.
Yeah.
Do you know that?
Too much. It feels like lightning bolts everywhere.
Well, it really, what it is, and for some reason it's kind of left me what we talked about earlier. Good, godly.
Well, what I remember, or what I think I remember, is admitting you're wrong.
That wasn't that at all. Well, that wasn't my intention at all when I talked about this.
That's what I got out of it.
Good godly critique, good godly correction is what we're going to talk about.
Okay.
And the reason being is because one of the things that still sticks with me in you correcting me is at is a hanging participle.
Absolutely.
And
that's where it's at.
Or that's where it is. But you've always been adamant about at being a hanging participle and consistent with it.
Yes.
If I were to ever use the at in the sentence where I could have left it out, then you reminded me before we went any further that at was a hanging participle.
Yes.
And so I even said it to Alita, and she did not recall that.
Oh, really?
Yes, she did not recall.
Queen of Dixon.
Yes, Annalita was very good on being surprised at me saying at saying participle.
Yeah.
Yes, and I always figured it came from her being an English teacher.
No, it came from Bill Kirkpatrick.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Wow, I wish I'd have known.
Yeah, Bill Kirkpatrick said that to me one day, and it just stuck.
Yes.
Now, I heard it several times in high school, but I don't even remember those years.
Right.
You know,
But you remember Bill saying it to
but
you.
I remember Bill saying it to me.
And you're right, it did stick because it was one of the things that has stuck with me.
Yeah.
Papaw and I were driving down a road. Of course, I had to be 5 or 6, maybe even 7. It was before Vicki Lynn died. So he and I were driving down a dirt road. And, you know, as Papaw always would, and here in Oklahoma we'll do it a lot, if you see somebody that's driving the opposite direction and you know them, you'll stop right in the middle of the road and you'll talk. And of course, this being way before we had cell phones or anything like that, they would talk for quite a while. And we were on our way to town, probably to get a snow cone or something. That was Papaw's way of doing things. And anyway, so he was talking to this fella, and I got impatient and started to interrupt. That was the only thing that my Papaw ever got on to me about, was interrupting. That was good correction. Because I still, to this day, am aware of not interrupting. Agreed?
Agreed.
And so anytime you're going to have any good conversation, there are etiquettes to that. I was listening to Peterson talking about the ability to articulate and what a powerful thing it was to articulate. And I agree with him wholeheartedly. Any thoughts on all that?
Yes, it's not how many words you use, it's how you use the many words.
I agree.
And that is part of articulation. Many people, you're talking about critique. Many people take critique as criticism. They misunderstand what critique is and what it should, the effect it should have.
Right.
They look at it as complaint instead of critique.
Right.
And there's a difference in a complaint and a critique. When you self-examine yourself, sometimes you do it because of what someone else says, and you look at yourself to see if they're right.
I do.
And part of the time, seldom, they're right.
Or something, a part of what they said
Right.
has something.
Has some meaning that you look at.
Absolutely.
See, I never had a problem admitting I was wrong. I just had a problem believing it.
And letting somebody else tell you.
Yeah. What do you mean I'm wrong? No. But it requires humility to accept criticism.
True.
And I don't look at it as criticism. I look at it as a critique. They're looking for me to improve myself because what I was doing was not satisfactory for social norms. So if they have something to say, then I look at myself. You told me not long ago the highest form of intelligence was thinking about what you're thinking.
That's right. Think about what you think about.
So I have done that. I've looked at my views as opposed to what other people say. And I'm just a pretty simple guy. That things are either right or wrong. They make sense or they don't.
Reasonable.
They're reasonable or they're not. So I accept the criticism for what it is. It's an observation.
Well, have you noticed though, because I don't get criticized very often at all.
Well, if I was your size, they wouldn't criticize me either. How big old boy are you?
Yeah, the past I had, right. Yes, I understand that. However, I do try to put myself in situations to receive, it's not even critiquing as much as it is concern or something that may work better for me. And so I don't even look at it like critique, but you're right, it is. It's critiquing. Even though it has no effect on them, even though it really only has to do with me, I still look for that just because I like others' observations, not so much of me or as much as the situation. So when I see when I'm able to see a situation where I would like more input on it, I try to put myself in place to where I'm vulnerable enough to hear what they have to say. Nobody browbeats me. Nobody talks down to me. Nobody, and if they do, they're not doing it on purpose. They're doing it for their own satisfaction.
Or they have real good health insurance.
They've aligned their affairs. Yes, sir. And so, but for a man to try and stay upon that mountain where he thinks he looks down on everybody, I believe is a wasted life. I like being in there in the fold. I like participating. It's just like what we talked about before. Participating is what allows me to fulfill what I'm capable of. If I don't sit down there and talk to those people when I'm playing cards or whatever I'm doing with them or having meetings with them, if I don't go in there and approach that with that open-minded humility of what I'm talking about, then as they talk to me, they're already shutting down talking to me openly. Steve Hall was probably as good as anybody to be able to talk to me about being clean and sober, about recovery, because I had to learn how to listen to that and to be critiqued. When you're working the steps on the things you're powerless over and how your life's unmanageable, the things which stands in the way of your usefulness to yourself and your fellows in God, it takes somebody being able to talk to you about that it's okay if they lose you. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I like being spoken to as if they're okay with losing me. They don't need to raise their voice and they don't need to be critical, but for them to talk to me like, this is for the good of you and for others, that to me is good godly concern. Good, what do I call it?
Criticism.
No, I didn't, Dad. Come on now, are you paying attention to me? Because I'm trying to get you to say it.
Well, I don't get the point you're trying to make.
Obviously you don't.
I don't. Make it clear.
Yes, sir, I shall. When you tell me about at being a hanging participle,
Yeah.
you're giving me good
Correction.
Yes, thank you very much.
Yeah, see, all you have to do is make it clear.
It's a good thing I can do that. So what is one of the things that you recall about good correction?
Besides at being a hanging participle,
Yes, besides that.
the best advice I ever got, and it took me a long time to adjust to it, was to thine own self be true.
Yes, amen.
I get most of my information out of the Bible now, and that is not in the Bible,
Right.
but it should be.
Yeah.
A lot of things Shakespeare wrote should be in the Bible, because the answers to everything is in the Bible. And this is not a Bible study, but that's where correction and reproof comes from. And reproof is proving again.
Good point.
Okay? So when I say to you, at is a hanging participle, that's reproof. I'm proving again, at is a hanging participle.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
It's a real, but I didn't really trust English because they said it was I before E except after C, except in achieve, in several thousand other words.
Good point. Yes, good point.
And either or, neither nor, not only but also. It's something you can put in a poem.
Right.
Oh, I've thought of a poem I'm going to write for your cousin,
Really?
titled "Empty Holsters."
There's really a thin line between putting salt on a wound and being correctful
Oh, okay.
or corrective. There's really a thin line there. And though you and I, and I'm assuming he, will find a little humor in all that, it is still salt in a wound, I think. But he's handling it pretty good.
Good.
He's being, and that's another thing. He is being well corrected and accepting it. And you're right. It took the humility of going through the things that he's gone through to get him to that place.
Well, if I'd known the difference between intern and return, I might have been a doctor.
That's a very good point. You might have been. Instead of just a healer.
Yeah.
You might have been a doctor.
Well, all the healers are standing in line at the pharmacy at Walmart.
I know. That's a great point.
Yeah,
All the healers are standing in line.
at the pharmacy at Walmart.
That's right. They sure are. Well, again, I think that's a subject matter that's rarely spoken about is good correction.
Well, another thing too, I always did was look at the source. If you're going to tell me how to change a valve on a piece of machinery, you're going to have done it before,
Yes.
proficiently. and then I'll listen.
Same thing with recovery.
Yes.
Or inventory, doing the steps,
Yes.
self-examination.
So look at the source before you look at any critique.
That's true.
Because source matters.
And I will say, because of me putting myself out there vulnerably for the last 5, 6, 7 years in videos and living up to those videos, everything that I spoke about was how I lived my life. I must say that when people come to me for issues of trauma or recovery or whatever the case is that they come to me for, they do believe that I know what I'm talking about due to the fact that I have lived through it and have spoken to it openly.
Amen.
Amen.
One other thing I learned from somebody that was really beneficial is how to parse the word is.
How to parse it.
We had a president of the United States that could parse is. Depends on what is. And when you can parse is, you can pretty well figure out anything.
Well, I think he parsed his is on a dress in the Oval Office. I think he parsed it.
Humidifier. Cigar box.
Well, we can easily tell that our time has elapsed here, and again, please don't forget, if you would like to know more about the word and what it means, not just what it says, but what it means to Dad, please tune in Wednesdays at 10 a.m. to his Facebook page. He does Meat of the Matter, and he does an exceptional job of it. So, anything else you'd like to say?
Yes. Good night, Mrs. McGillicuddy, no matter where you are.
It's like being at a Peter Pull at Miss Taffy's house.